Is a concern from Kenyans from what they see the government doing, which is what Lofty had asked earlier, the government appearing to spend excessively. How do you back on the excesses of the government? Your own economic advisor, David Day, has said it publicly. He's gotten into government and he's seeing there's excessive and...
David is speaking the truth, and that is why we have cut down on unnecessary expenditure. That's why we were able to reduce the budget by 300 billion. That's why in this year's budget, we've been able to reduce from, instead of borrowing 1.1 trillion like the former regime, we are now going to bring it down to 600, those numbers you read, 660 something. So we are responsible. Okay. You know, you're telling me you increased 90 million that was borrowed by State House. You know? Yes. You know what used to happen? The office of the deputy president has been shut. You know? So if you have to reinstate the operations of the office of the deputy president, when I was there, you know what happened. You know, the office was, I was paying from my own pocket fuel for my cars. I was paying for tea in my office. I was paying for allowances for my drivers and everybody. It was not fair. But you see, I respect my deputy. I want my deputy to run his show. And I want my deputy to work in an office that works. My deputy is very busy. Today, he can hardly have time. He is permanently in the office because I have assigned him responsibilities. For example, I assigned him the responsibility of making sure that no Kenyan dies. He was sitting on it with development partners, with other Kenyans, and no Kenyan died because of kukosa chakula. Because when you get people to help you work becomes easier and work becomes better.
Mheshimiwa Rais, swali hili la nyongeza ya milioni 93 katika Ikulu mimi nimeliuliza na linafungamana na matumizi haswa ya ugatuzi. Na Wakenya wamejiuliza haswa Wakenya wa matabaka ya chini pia viongozi haswa maseneta katika mrengo wa upinzani kwamba je, Rais wewe ni adui wa ugatuzi ama unaunga mkono ugatuzi, ikitegemewa kwamba ni maseneta wako ambao waliangusha pendekezo hili la tume ya mgao wa ushuru CRA kuongeza mgao hadi bilioni 4.7 wakapitisha 407. Na katika hali hiyo, je, unaona wewe unaunga mkono ugatuzi? Manake katika Ikulu unaweza ongeza milioni 93 tu katika kipindi cha wiki moja kipitishwa, lakini fedha kwenda katika county hakuna, mpaka zinapunguzwa. Unaunga mkono ugatuzi ama ni adui wa ugatuzi?
Mimi ni rafiki mkubwa sana wa ugatuzi.
Basi mbona
na waulize magavana wetu. Wananielewa vizuri sana. Na nataka nikueleze, nilizungumza na magavana wetu, nikawaambia, my friends, siwezi nikaenda nikakopa tukuje tugawane. Hapana, hiyo siwezi kufanya. Hivyo ndio tulikuwa tunataka tufanye. Hapana. Nikawaambia tugawane ile ushuru tumeokota. Ile ya kuenda kwa sababu mwaka uliopita iliisha mwaka kama tuko na deni ya karibu bilioni 90 pesa ya makaunti. Mimi ndio nimekuja kuilipia. Na ni kwa sababu tulijidanganya, tukawaambia tutawapatia pesa kiasi hii. Haikupatikana hiyo pesa. Ikabidi ivuke iende mwaka unaofuata. So mimi nimewaambia safari hii, ndugu zangu, budget nimepunguza borrowing, ile mikopo kutoka karibu trilioni 1 mpaka milioni 600. Kila mmoja wetu akaze mshipi. Yeah? Sisi tutakaza mshipi upande wa serikali ya kitaifa na kila mtu. Na ndio sababu tulikubaliana na wao pesa ambazo tutagawanya kwa counties ni bilioni 385.
Kwa hivyo uliwashawishi maseneta wako kuangusha
sio maseneta, niliwashawishi magavana.
Lakini pendekezo lile liliangushwa pale wakati wa kupiga kura. Je, kulikuwa na mkono wako kwamba wale maseneta wanaogemea upande wa Kenya Kwanza waangushe?
Wale maseneta ni viongozi. Wako na akili. Ndio walichaguliwa. Ile kazi ni kazi yao. Lakini wale wananisaidia kazi ya kuendesha serikali. Kwa sababu mimi na wao tulichaguliwa upande mmoja. Mimi na wao tuliuza sera pamoja na wao. Kwa sababu ni viongozi wa Kenya Kwanza, na wanaelewa mpango wetu, na wanaelewa budget yetu, na wanaelewa kiasi ya pesa tuliyoko nayo. Na mimi nataka nikuulize, kwani wale magavana hawatoki kwa kaunti? Kuna gavana wazimu hataki pesa iende kwa kaunti yake. Lakini you have to be realistic. You live within your means.
Lakini magavana wao hao ndio wamekuwa kilia kucheleweshwa kwa pesa, mishahara na kadhalika.
Na ndio nimesema as decent, responsible people and leaders, we cannot live beyond our means. We have to be brutally honest with ourselves. What is possible and what is not possible. And I have sat down. I am the only president who has taken a lot of time. I have sat down with governors for 2 days. We have agreed on what we are going to do. We have agreed on joint plans. In fact, we have agreed with the governors that we are going to co-invest, just to show you the level of comradeship between my administration and the governors. We are going to jointly sponsor county, aggregation, and industrial parks. I have put 5 billion shillings in the budget to support that county function because I want to reduce post-harvest losses. I want to bring on board value addition because that will happen if there is a partnership between the counties. Agriculture is devolved. They will work and aggregate because the power of aggregation helps us to provide storage. Therefore, we minimize post-harvest losses. It also gives us an opportunity to create volume where we can market. And number 3, it gives us an ecosystem for us to value add so that we can take it forward. And by the way, in those, just let me finish. In those county aggregation and industrial parks, we have also linked them to commodity exchange and warehouse receipting so that counties can be linked. So that, because, the problem we normally have is there is plenty in one corner of the country and there is scarcity in another corner of the country. And in between, there is no mechanism of how do you make sure that you close the gap between where you are in another corner, food is going to waste because it is too much and it cannot be absorbed. On another corner, people are dying or people are hungry because they didn't have food. So commodity exchange and warehouse receipting is going to link the county aggregation and industrial park.
I have a direct question on that, Mr. President. So 385 billion shillings is the proposal to go to counties as revenue share. And then there's the extra conditional grants at 44 billion shillings.
Correct.
Foreign finance projects at 33 billion shillings, county industrial parks at 4.7 billion shillings.
Exactly.
Medical equipment scheme at 5.9 billion shillings, county headquarters 454 million shillings, and some money coming from the judiciary 108 million shillings. It comes to 429.7 billion. Now, all the others that have mentioned sound like the national government giving money to the counties to do the national government's work. Why not give counties 429 billion shillings to determine where they want to invest their money?
It is the nature of the law. The law provides some of those resources come from development partners, and we negotiate with development partners. Sometimes it is we have to receive the money as national government because sometimes development partners cannot go and sign 47 agreements. They prefer to sign one agreement with the national government on the understanding that this money will be passed to the counties. So it is just an accounting government procedure that dictates that some of the time we do that. Some of the grants, is exactly what I was telling you.
Yep.
We are providing 5 billion shillings. 4.7 billion, the one you have read, will go to the county. In fact, that's a county function. It's not a national government function.
Exactly.
I am supporting the counties to do what they are supposed to do. But I am telling them, I am not giving you extra money. Because I have an interest in the county aggregation and industrial park. Because I want to make sure, because, sometimes you send the money to a particular county, and they go and decide to do something else. They go pay salary, They go for a trip to where? You know, so that we don't want.
They are accountable.
They are accountable.
They
Precisely.
have their own means of accountability.
Precisely.
You should not be determining what they do with the money. Send the money to them. The Senate will discuss the county allocation of revenue
Latif,
and pass it.
That's not how it works.
According to the formula by CRA, the money goes to the counties.
That's not how it works.
Why do you want, Mr. President, the national government to determine what projects are going to be done by functions that are devolved?
We have already agreed in advance. We have already agreed. And by the way, I was here with the chair, Anu Waiguru, and her deputy, the governor of Wajir. Day before yesterday, I think, I was here with them. And they came for us to agree what is the procurement model of that particular exercise. And I told them the county will procure. You know, let the county, every county should procure the county aggregation, how it is going to be built. All we have agreed with them. The same way we agreed on the design of all our Tibet institutions. We have agreed on one design for the county aggregation. For what purpose? Number one, for standardization. Number two, to avoid another architect going to charge Sijui 20 million because they have gone to some place. And so we are approving one generic design. And that is the design that is used everywhere. We have done it with Tibet. It is very successful. Number three, we have also agreed for purposes of accountability how much it's going to cost. We have done a BQ so that somebody does not go and sit somewhere in Kisumu or in Eldoret or in somewhere and say, oh, you know, this thing has cost 600, 700 million. We know the cost. So we have agreed ahead of time. This is going to be the cost. You procure. This is the BQ. This is the design. There is no other cost.
Okay.
Mheshimiwa Rais, tukisalia kwenye hili swala la ugatuzi na utendakazi wake, sekta ya afya imekuwa ikikumbwa na changamoto mbalimbali na wengi wanauliza, je, sekta ya afya kweli iko salama mikononi mwa serikali za kaunti?
Mimi ninaamini kabisa katika uwezo wa makaunti kusimamia sekta ya afya. Kuna watu wengi wako na msukumo kwamba sekta ya afya irudishwe kwenye national government. Mimi siamini kabisa, kwa sababu mimi nimeona tofauti mkubwa tangu mambo ya afya iwe devolved. Madaktari wameajiriwa, wauguzi, nurses, clinical officers, equipment, ujenzi. So mimi ninaamini kabisa ya kwamba sekta hiyo ya afya imekuwa bora katika mikono ya county governments. Pale kidogo tuko na matatizo, kwa sababu lazima tuseme ni kwamba tuko na matatizo kidogo na wauguzi wenyewe, madaktari na wale manases, na tumekubaliana vile hilo jambo tutalitatua. Na nurses and doctors, they have some legitimate concern. Not actually some, they have legitimate concerns. Ya mambo ya promotion, mambo ya training, na pia counties wako na legitimate reasons. And that is why tumekubaliana na county governments. Tumeketi chini, tukasema we are going to operationalize part of the law that was not operationalized on human resource that is going to help us jointly with county governments to work on the human resource element. How are we going to make sure that the doctors, when they go on training, what happens? Because counties wanatuambia madaktari 10-20 wameenda training miaka 4. Bado wanapata mshahara katika county. Kwa hivyo hawawezi kuajiri daktari mwingine miaka 3, miaka 4. So lazima hapo pia tuketi chini, ni vipi ni wakienda katika training, nani atagharamia hiyo training? Tuko tayari kama national government kujadiliana tutafanya mgao hapo katikati, tutakubaliana ni vipi, na mimi niko na imani ya kwamba tutakubaliana, kwa sababu we have an interest in doctors being trained. We have an interest in counties being able to provide service. So we must strike a balance. That has been the issue. But to tell you, my dear sister, I am very, I have full confidence, let me say, in the ability of counties to discharge the responsibility of health.
Na Mheshimiwa Rais, kuna sekta hii muhimu ambayo pia inataka tuiangazie katika mazungumzo.
Just one minute, tafadhali.
Sawa sawa.
Pia, just to show you how well we are working with the counties, because I believe that reasonable people can arrive at a consensus. We have also agreed with the counties that we are going to have a new paradigm in the delivery of health, that we are going to reduce on curative, we are going to enhance on promotive, and on preventive. Those two, on preventive and promotive. And that's why we have agreed with them that jointly between the national government and the county government, under the new plan that I am pushing, we are going to change what we call today community health volunteers. We're going to change them to community health promoters so that we can pay them a stipend. And we can also equip them. We are currently procuring about maybe 2-3 billion worth of equipment for community health promoters. These are close to 100,000 people in Kenya. Okay. And we are going to allocate every community health promoter about 100 homes. So permanently, home to home, they will be visiting. Wako na kitu ya kumesha pressure, ya kumesha sukari, ya kupima kila kitu. You don't have to go to hospital. Na mambo ataanza kukueleza hapa kuna matatizo. Okay. Tafadhali enda hospitali, enda pale dispensary. Okay, so we are changing, and I am very happy with the partnership we have with the county.
Excellency, in relation to that, and my colleague will come in on another note. There is a brewing scandal at the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA. And this is in relation to the bungling of the Global Fund, which is about 3.7 billion Kenya shillings. We understand that the donors are unhappy because of the flaws in the procurement process. And there seems to be systemic corruption that we aren't talking about. And to an extent, you mentioned that during your campaigns of the scandal at the KEMSA, which is the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency. What then will your government do? Because you have talked about the hospitals, the facilities, and the personnel, but there needs to be the medication that will come from this agency. How will you address the problem of corruption at KEMSA?
Watch this space. What you have said is correct. So, and I am doing something about it. I don't want to speak about it now.
We'll see results then?
Yes, you will see results.
Mr. President,
I want to give you my commitment. I will clean up KEMSA. Whatever it takes,
Mr. President,
whatever it costs, I will clean it up.
Related to that, what is your philosophy really about corruption in the country? Do you think it's a big problem? And the people, the high-profile people who had cases before you came to power, and we've seen the Directorate of Public Prosecutions dropping their cases. From where you sit, do you feel they are innocent?
It is not for me to judge anybody to be guilty or innocent.
Some of them are your allies.
The commitment, even if you are my friend, how do I know whether you are corrupt or not? You know, even if you are my ally. So the ability to judge whether one is innocent or not is with the criminal justice system and the investigative agencies. Okay. The commitment I made to the people of Kenya is that I will build the institutions that will deal firmly and decisively with corruption. It is not going to go away in one day. We will have to put up a real fight. And as I do it at a personal level, we have to support the institutions that will help us deal with it as a way of ensuring sustainability. That is why I said the financial independence of the DCI, of the police, of the investigative agencies must get out of the office of the president. Let them run their budget, investigate whoever they want. And I have been very clear to the DPP. I have been very clear to my friends at EACC not to call me on any matter. And I also promised them I will not call them on any matter. Let them prosecute everybody that they want to prosecute. There were days that because somebody is senior or the president has to be informed, I told them I don't want to be informed. If somebody has been found guilty of anything, they should be dealt with in accordance with the law. Let me also tell you, it is the same reason that I am enhancing the budget for the judiciary, because I want the judiciary to appropriate their responsibility and mandate to deal with corruption firmly, decisively, but also in a timely manner, so that we don't have corruption cases running for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. They must be dealt with expeditiously. And that is the clarity that I have made to the judiciary, that we respect their independence. The Chief Justice is free to call me whenever she has called me a few times to discuss with me. She wants additional charges. I pushed to Parliament that let us have an additional 70 charges. Parliament went and reduced it to, I think, 50, which is okay. It's a good start, because I think we need more men and women in the judiciary to adjudicate on all cases, including corruption cases. She came to me about the budget. We came and discussed with her the areas they wanted in the budget. They wanted a few, they wanted the small claims court. We provided the funding for it. The first one is in Nairobi. We gave them the resources to make sure that they begin the small claims court and another hustler court. It's a smaller court. I don't know whether I'm saying the right one, but that one. Because she said she wants to do bottom up.
Small claims court.
Yeah, so
small claims
we provided the resources for it. She came back to me and told me she wants to complete, I think they have about 20 different buildings in different places for courts around the country. That's why I have put money, because that's why I have given them an extra 4 billion shillings, because it is my commitment that we should build the capacity of the judiciary to be able to handle cases. We should build the capacity of the DCI. We should build the capacity of the EACC so that they can do their job. I cannot do everything. I'm a human being.
That's true, Your Excellency. With the capacity also comes responsibility.
Yes.
Those officers that you've mentioned are the ones that have been involved in what we can call the debacle about dropping of cases. The DPP goes to court and says, I was expecting the DCI to give me more information. The DCI has not given me more information, so I have nothing to take this case forward. The Controller of Budget went to Parliament, and she actually also spoke about what happened with regards to the Telecom Kenya payment. Now, these are officers who they're independent constitutionally, but they have sworn an oath of office on how to do their job. Do you think they ought to take responsibility for these actions, for taking somebody to court over 8 years, no prosecution proceeds, and then a case is dropped on account of, I do not have evidence?
They are the best placed to answer those questions. And they should answer those questions. I mean, if you've taken somebody to court for 8 years, and then you actually did not have a case against them, it was orchestrated, it was malicious, you have something to answer, Because my understanding, from what I have seen in the courts, is that there are people who have been taken to court, and the cases have never moved, from day one. The cases have never made even a step. And it is the reason why I asked Kinoti to resign and leave. Because he was involved in the exercise of politicizing the criminal justice system.
Is that sufficient?
Which is unacceptable to me, which is unacceptable to me. So, and you can ask Mr. Amin. You can ask the new IG. He rarely receives a call from me on anything because I want them to do their job. My friend, I have a job to do here.